Welcome to the PewterCast. This is a special announcement that we have here at the PewterCast. I am Brent Allen, your host. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ren Daxt. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing great. We got to put our heads together, and we think we've come up with a good idea, and we're trying to get it out early to so everyone knows what's going on, to our listeners, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited about this because, honestly, any chance to get to talk Bucs football, Ren, you say it all the time. I'll talk Bucs football all day long, and we now have another avenue where we get to talk about the Bucs, and we're going to be talking about them on a national stage on a weekly basis, coming up here in just a handful of months, really. But we thought we'd go ahead and put this out there. The Bucs had a big announcement this morning, and everyone knew what it was. There was no secret whatsoever as to what the announcement was. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know by now that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our beloved Buccaneers, have been picked to be on HBO's Hard Knocks for this coming season. And so since they're doing Hard Knocks, guess what? So are we, folks. We are going to add a special show to the PewterCast lineup. It's a 5-week show, so we'll probably do that. We may or may not have some bookend episodes, so it'll be a very limited run of shows, but we'll have a very special show. Ren, why don't you tell the folks kind of what we're thinking? And I should probably preface this by saying this is very fluid, people. We've got 4 months to figure this out. This is what we're thinking right now, how it'll go. Ren, why don't you tell us a little bit about how the show is going to look?
Sure. Like Brent said, we just wanted to get this out to you guys, give you something to look forward to so you could kind of get in line with what we're thinking with this right now. And I think it's probably a pretty solid title. We're going to be calling it Talking Knocks. Basically, for the Walking Dead fans out there, right after that show airs, they have a live interview, talk about sometimes people call in and they talk about the episode, about what they've seen and storylines and plot lines going forward. And that's pretty much what we're going to be aping. We're going to take that format and apply it to Hard Knocks for the Bucs right now. And like Brent said, it's very fluid, but right now we're thinking we're going to come on directly after it airs on Hard Knocks, which by all accounts, it looks like it's going to be 11 p.m. Eastern. And, Brent and I are going to come on and we're going to talk about the show and what we like, what we don't like, where we think things are going to go. But also it's going to be a live call-in show, not necessarily just a caller-driven show. But if you want to call and talk, what you liked and didn't like and want to talk to Hard Knocks Buccaneer football with us, the number will be there. We're going to do it live on Mixlr. As always, we always do our live shows. So, yeah, I'm super excited. It is a ways off, but I'm glad we're getting this out here now. So, it's the right day to get the information out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had actually originally planned, hey, let's just wait till like July before we talk about this. And Ren was like, no, we got to get it out. And you know what? You're absolutely right. There's no sense to hide it. There's no sense to not talk about it. Let's just go ahead and say it. Hey, we're going to do this. And honestly, I expect other Buccaneer podcasts to do it, and that's great. And I can't wait to hear their thoughts and their opinions on it. But we wanted to let you guys, our fans, be the first to know that we are committing to doing this. We're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. And I'm super excited. And I like the call-in aspect of the show. It's one of my favorite things that we do on this show is the Instant Cast show during the season. And honestly, I've missed it a little bit here in the off season. And so it's really the chance to interact with you guys, the fans. It just blows me away. I didn't expect when we started the PewterCast that we would really kind of develop this community. Because we, several of us have become friends through really this podcast and through the podcasting community around the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I love getting to interact with you guys. I know Ren Ren, you've done one Instant Cast show, I think, as co-host.
One show.
If I remember right, you loved it a lot, and I don't blame you because I do too. And so this will be a chance for us to have, a few more Instant Cast shows, places to interact, but we certainly are going to have the thoughts and things that we have towards Hard Knocks. So that's the announcement, guys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on Hard Knocks, and so is the PewterCast. We're going to be doing Talking Knocks. After that, Ren, we had the big press conference earlier today. Anything that came out of the press conference that stood out to you, or how you feeling about us being on Hard Knocks? What do you think?
Well, I was, when it was first proposed, way off, like pretty much right as soon as the Super Bowl, people started kind of like, oh, what about Hard Knocks? And the Bucs name started coming up. And when it initially came out, I was in the camp of no way. It's a distraction. It's something I don't want. I want, my guys to go to work and put their nose to the grindstone and get stuff done. I don't want it. Then, but that's kind of it was a selfish view for me, because someone like you, Brent, who's not local to the area, like I can go and watch all the training camps, they allow me to. But not only people that aren't in the area, but I also saw on Twitter about how excited fans, like Buccaneer fans from South Africa were. I saw fans from the UK tweeting about it. There's Buck fans all over the world. We've had phone calls from Panama. We've had emails from Australia. These people now, since HBO is a worldwide network that pretty much every country carries, they get to see their team. So once I started looking at it that way, which was probably about 3 weeks ago, it really flipped for me. I think it's going to be a great thing for the fans. And also, during the press conference, Mark Cook brought it up from Pewter Report. We know how great Jameis is. We know how great Jameis is for the community, what a great leader he is. But you always kind of feel there's this negative stereotype around the nation or NFL fandom about him. I think last year he was voted the second most hated player behind Cam Newton. It's like a nationwide
Was he
poll.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
I was shocked when I read that too. It might not have been second, but he was up there. But I'm pretty sure my memory is usually pretty rock solid. So I think it was second. And it gets a chance for people to, because we want people to like Jameis as much as we do. So it's really going to give them a platform for Jameis to shine. And of course the Buccaneers, who are a lot of fans kind of complain. If you watch the national networks, you get zero to very, very minimal Bucs coverage at all.
Yeah, it surprised me as you say that, because when we did, even when we did our last show, the Peeking Over the Fence show, where we got to talk to other podcasters from other NFC South teams, even within the NFC South, off air, Ren, you and I had, a couple of those guys asked us, like, okay, really, what's going on with Jameis? Like, do you really like him? And I have to answer that question a lot living out of the area.
I bet. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and for my work, I tend to travel, and so I go to a lot of other areas, and you just meet people and you talk to people, and people, I wear my Bucs gear, and people, oh, you a Buccaneer fan, huh? What about Jameis Winston? Like, people actually want to know about him, that are out and about, like we've all in Tampa, those of us who are Bucs fans, like. We were cool with it since before the draft. Whether you believe accusations, don't believe accusations, we've seen who he is. We've seen who he is as a person. We've seen his maturity, and we certainly believe that mantra. And especially here at the PewterCast, we talk about it a lot of, is it a maturity issue or is it a character issue? And, maturity issues, they can grow out of. Character is a little hard, a little harder to do that. And, anything that Jameis really did was just seemed more of a maturity issue. And there may have been some things that were said about him that just weren't true. But regardless of that, people still have question marks in their head about Jameis. And that blows my mind. I can't believe that he would be a hated figure within the NFL if people really knew him. Like I just, that blows my mind. I've never heard that before in my life, but wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. I mean, I'm just as guilty of it with some players that I don't know a lot about because I don't follow them. I don't go on their websites, and so I don't know the real person. I don't hear any of the good stuff they do. So I'm guilty of it as well. So here and there. But it's going to be – I think it's going to be nice. I think that's everyone's sort of biggest thing that they think of right off the top of their head that's going to come out of Hard Knocks. Like the NFL fandom base is going to really get to know Jameis Winston. Some other things I liked about the press conference, like Dirk Cutter was like the show, don't want him here.
Right.
Which, that's fine.
That's Dirk, though, too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I probably if I was the head coach, I'd probably say the same thing,
Yeah.
But then he backed it up and talked about how professional they were. Like right after that, they're very professional. It's not that they're really a hindrance. It's just that if I had my druthers, I wouldn't want them there. But some interesting facts for fans when they're out during training camp, there's going to be up to 6 cameras and up to 10 players mic'd.
Players and coaches, they said. Between players and coaches, there'll be 10 of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, that's right. And then when I watch Insider Live today, there's going to be, I think Scott Smith said static cameras, which I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm assuming that's cameras that just kind of like sit up in the corner and they're not moved, they're not manned.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. There's going to be one in Jason Light's office, going to be one in Dirk Cutter's office, and basically in all the rooms, like the tight end room, the defensive line, the running back.
Sure.
So there's got to be this, cameras in that are recording all the time in those rooms. And besides that, so the only time they're really going to see Hard Knocks people, besides like going to the bathroom and going to the cafeteria, is on the training camp field. And they're already filmed anyway, so it's just extra cameras, and it's not like there's not a lot of cameras around game day. So I could see why a lot of players are just like, yeah, whatever, it's the same thing. Camera's a camera. It's on us all the time.
They said that in the press conference. No, they said that in the press conference, and I think Dirk said it, having gone through it with Atlanta, was the cameras come in, they're there, and after a while you forget that they're there. Like he talking about how professional they are. Like they don't get in your way. They're not obtrusive in everything that they do. So, but I didn't know they were going to have those static cameras. That's kind of fun because one, I'd kind of like to see what Jason and Dirk's offices look like. Two, especially if they're going to go ever into Mike Smith's office or even Dirk Cutter's office, I will personally be looking in the background on their shelves to see a little mini Lombardi trophy that they may have received. I really, that'd be cool. I could see it not maybe hanging out in a player's locker all year long, but, maybe that's something that we'll see. That'd be fun. I'd love to see that. It'd make me smile. Might be a little sad if I don't, but yeah.
One of us has to send in an email when Scott Smith does his mailbag. One of us has sent out an email to ask if there's any mini Lombardis. Have you seen any mini Lombardis floating around $1 place?
We should do that. That'd be fun. Oh, I'm super excited. I have a little confession to make to everyone. As of right now, I am a Hard Knocks virgin. I've never seen an episode.
That's right.
I've never seen an episode. I've never been a big HBO fan or a big HBO guy. Like we've never really had it until these last couple of years, and it just honestly, the teams I didn't really care about. But you know what? I really, really care about the team they've got this year. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I thought about whether or not I should go back and watch some of the other ones to see what it's like, but I think I'm just going to let the experience be brand new all the way around, with a team that I really care a whole lot about. So I'm excited. I'm super excited. As far as expectations of the show, coming in when it first came out, I have always been on the side of I'd love to see the Bucs on Hard Knocks. And I get the idea of, that some people call it the curse of Hard Knocks but, when you break down what each team has done after the year they've been on Hard Knocks, it's not always awesome, but it's not always horrible either. Like, there's some teams that actually had some pretty good years coming off of Hard Knocks. So, I don't think there's too much in that.
Plus it's set up to not follow good teams.
Right.
Like if you've been in the playoffs 2 years in a row, like, you're exempt.
You're right.
So like the Packers is never going to be – well, I'm not going to say never, but, the Patriots are always off the list. The Packers are always off the list. Like the upper echelon teams are always off the list.
Right.
So if you haven't made the playoffs for 2 years, well, your team's probably not that good.
Right.
You're either a team on the rise or a team on the fall. And then if you're a first-year head coach, then you're exempt. So,
right.
And that just kind of what it made the 8 teams in there. So it's not, like I said, it's not the creme of the creme of the NFL that's even allowed to be on the show. And I think that's why the record is lopsided as far as win-losses.
Yeah, and and here's the thing about this particular one. Listening to the press conferences, to go back to that, I believe it was the director for Hard Knocks said, the Bucs are a team on the rise. Like, this is the time we want to come in and pick up their story for people who are not like us, people who aren't the hardcore never jump ship type of fans. This is the time that the rest of the nation is kind of tuning in. And, I've said it before, I don't hate bandwagon fans. I don't hate on them at all when they jump on. I might hate on them when they jump off, but I'm not going to hate on them when they jump on, because that's how the vast majority of us became fans at some sort of a bandwagon time period, and then we just never got off, and so, I'm always for getting new fans to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and welcoming them in. Just don't leave once you're here. So
yeah. I mean, they don't get the aisle or the window seat. I mean, they got to sit in the middle,
right? Between two big fat, between me and Derek over at What the Buck, they got to sit between us. Yeah. Man,
that would be it. That better be a short flight, because
tight squeeze.
It is a tight squeeze.
We are not small gentlemen. So, all right. Well, Ren, I think that's probably going to wrap up this little announcement thing. Unless there's anything else you want to say to the PewterCast fans as we sign off.
Nothing more about it. I know I'm excited just like they are. Just want to give them a shout out and a thank you for continuing to support us. Our numbers continue to go up, and everything's going well. And it's going to be a great year. The draft is, what time is it? Yep, it's after midnight, so Eastern Standard Time. So the draft is officially a week away. Get ready. Once again, I've said it before. It's going to be the golden age of Buck fandom, and here we go.
And this is a part of it. Having your own TV show is a part of it. Well, guys, I think with that, we'll sign off here. Buccaneers doing Hard Knocks. The PewterCast, we are doing Hard Knocks, along with everyone else. Call-in show, Talking Knocks, following each episode. At least that's the plan right now. More details will come out as we get a little bit closer. So for Ren and myself, we'd like to say good night and go Bucks. And, go back and get episode 33, Drafting Riley Allman. That was a really fun episode, so make sure you go back and listen to that if you haven't already. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.